The death tax and the proposed GIPSA rule are just two of the big items facing the U.S. beef industry. And joining us in the studio this evening with his perspective is House Agriculture Committee and ranking member of the Agricultural Committee, Congressman Frank Lucas from Oklahoma. Congressman, thanks for joining us.
Hello, Kevin. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Well, as we get started, let's start talking about these tax cuts and specifically your read on this death tax issue.
Well, Kevin, I think before we go home this year, and sometime this week, most likely next week, we'll see the final package. When the Republicans and President Obama essentially agreed to extend the 01 and 03 tax relief, the cap gains rate of 15%, the income tax rates, that's critically important to producers and families across the country. Particular interest, as you noted, was the agreement that appears to be in the works on the death tax. Basically, it would set a top rate of 35%. It would allow a $5 million transfer by person to the next generation. It's not what I think most of us in rural America want, which is the total elimination as we had in 2010, but it's dramatically better than what the President and Speaker Pelosi initially wanted, which was basically a return to the old 55% rates.
You know, let's talk quickly about the GIPSA issue and the fact that, you know, as the Secretary of Agriculture said, it could make some sweeping changes to the U.S. beef cattle industry. You come from a district that has a lot of cattle in it. What's your read on the impact it would have on the beef industry?
Absolutely, Kevin. I think the way this is put together, it will have a tremendously devastating impact on us. But I'll have to tell you up front, this is a set of rules that basically the Department of Ag in D.C. wanted in the three previous farm bills. Congress wouldn't give them the authority. It's a set of rules that they tried to go through the courts to force implementation on, and half a dozen court cases ruled against them. So if you can't get the elected officials to do it, if you can't get the courts to implement it, then you use the rulemaking process, and that's where we are right now. We had a hearing back in July in the Livestock Subcommittee where, in a very bipartisan way, we attempted to get the administration and USDA's attention. Don't do this. They've gone forward anyway, and they're continuing that process. Now, will it ultimately wind up being a court case by somebody like the NCBA? Will we be in a position in the spring to try and overturn something? We're going to have to play this hand out. But the GIPSA rule is contrary to the will of Congress, contrary to the opinion of the courts in past cases. I just don't think it's good for us.
So let's look ahead to 2011.
Yes.
And some exciting news. I understand that the steering committee has recommended even today that you are the new chairman, or you would be the new chairman of the House Agricultural Committee. If, assuming that happens, what are some of your priorities for next year?
Well, Kevin, we need to write a farm bill in 2012. And I'm going to have a huge new freshman class, not only in Congress as a whole, but on the Agriculture Committee. So be prepared for what I would describe as exhaustive oversight hearings, looking at EPA and the rulemaking process. Yes, particulate matter, spray rules as an example, USDA and the GIPSA issues, and just the farm bill implementation in general. I need to do that. The committee needs to do that, Kevin, so that we can bring the new members up to speed and we can create the kind of bipartisan coalition that we've always operated on farm bills together as we look towards the 2012. Because we're not going to have as much money as we had before, and we're going to have a tremendous amount of demands on us, and a lot of people who just quite simply, in all fairness, don't have a clue about the countryside.
Well, you've got a big job ahead of you, but we're glad to have you representing us in the agricultural industry. Thank you so much for being on the show, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Kevin.
For more information about these issues and how you can be involved, head to our website at cattlemen2cattlemen.org.